there, it's Anonymous Tea, where we spill the tea anonymously. Hello, 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 everyone. Hello, YouTubers. Hope you guys are all having an amazing day today, sending good vibes, sending positivity, sending blessings, and good energy to each and every single one of you. Thank you so much for tuning in. Happy New Year. Happy 2025. So we're talking love and marriage, hunts, fully oil here. Anything I say is alleged in my very, 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 very personal opinion. This is for entertainment purposes only. None of this is personal. The Copyright Act of 1976 is in the description box. So let's get into it. So none other than the person who birthed Tisha is back on their platform, did a live. So now all of a sudden, you guys, I'm not, saying their name. I'm not showing their picture. I don't play their videos to begin with. But nonetheless, they're threatening to strike people's channels that use their image, that play their videos now, and all this other foolishness. And it's like, this is not that serious. Why are you making threats? You should be thanking people that want to even talk to you and talk about you. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. It brings more traffic if people are curious to find out what you say. Now, unfortunately, for myself, I had to endure and translate most of what was said in this thing. And I'm going to give you guys a quick recap. Again, there's no sound, there's no pictures, it's just the peanut gallery. It's just the peanut gallery that is doing what the peanut gallery does, and we're going to talk about it. So the peanut gallery, they spent the first portion of reciting a poem of sorts to the late Kiki, who many of us, was very respectful of, was very, diplomatic about, was very objective about, and was very fair about. But that seems to get lost in translation. And nonetheless, she, really went into how it's been, 6 months since Kiki's passing. It feels like yesterday that there were several ups and downs, that there was always going to be arguments, always fussing, always fighting. However, it never got to an actual fight, and that things really came ahead because she was on the show, and that she, had to know essentially, she loves Kiki more than what she can say, and all this and that. And then wanted to try to call out people who disrespected Kiki, that this poem isn't for people who disrespected her. The poem's not for people who didn't like Kiki, who didn't have her back, and all these things. And I'm thinking to myself, isn't the person reading the poem like, am I going insane? Am I going insane? This is the most gaslighting thing ever. Because not only can this apply to you, but this can also apply to the same people that you uplift time and time again, that you are 10 toes down for, that have made the most despicable allegations about your niece, has said the most despicable things about your niece, has recorded your niece, but all of that is okay. All of that is okay as long as they hate Mel. And this is why I cannot deal with the tomfoolery. This is why I stand alone, not a part of any group or cliques or none of the foolishness that you were talking about over there. Make it make sense. We're all adults here. This whole thing, like, oh, you gotta be... No. Stand on business. Stand for something. Call out the people who were disrespectful to your niece. Hold those people accountable before you have the audacity to do this type of disclaimer. Because this is just some tomfoolery, if I've ever seen it. I couldn't believe it. I truly couldn't have believed it. So then after the Kiki portion, we now get into the Martell portion. And it was primarily for Martell and his concubine, but she wanted to slide in Mel for whatever reason, because for some reason she has some silly conspiracy that Mel is behind the quote-unquote Tisha and Marceau takedown, when Martell is not allowed to contact her. Martell is not allowed to contact Mel, so how are they devising a plan to do this big takedown? Do you make it like listen, we've established you don't like Mel, but can we take Mel out of the group chat? This is not her fight. This is not her situation. Mel's picture is nowhere to be found in this. Mel's name is not going to be in the caption of this video because Mel is not involved.
Just like you said, you didn't want your daughter to be involved in anything going on with Mel and Tel, which I find rich, because we're going to talk about that later too, because that is some hypocritical mess if I've ever seen it. But nonetheless, she went in on Martell. I still don't feel that she truly went in on him as she could have, because essentially she's now all of a sudden, see, this is what I mean when I say people have to get together and have certain conversations. There's a reason why these lives don't happen immediately anymore after Martell says or does something. It's because you have to get the stories together. You have to get the timeline together. Otherwise, you would have immediately debunked things. That's how I saw through it. Because this whole thing where we're going to preview something, we're going to go live in 2 days on the YouTube and all those things, that is so you can have enough time to discuss whatever is going to be fed to you, which is the same thing that happened on the Mr. Monday's episode with Carlos King. You literally did a live in which your daughter said basically everything verbatim. And nobody caught it because a lot of people don't listen to your lives anymore because they don't want to sit through it. But I caught it. And I was like, oh, so you basically feed your mom everything. And that is why you will never condemn your mom for the things that she says about Mel, because you want her to say those things about Mel. And you want to make it look like you had no clue, you had no idea because it's not coming out of your mouth. No. That is some snake behavior. You want to talk about standing on business and being powerful, say it with your chest. Don't wait to the reunion to call somebody a dark soul and the devil. No. Say everything your mom is saying every time she pushes that button. Say it. So there's that. So now they're trying to say now that potentially this timeline of this guy with a little bit more love on his body, that is on the fishing trip with Marceau, that potentially this could have happened between the years of 2004 through 2006. And that she then said some deplorable stuff about Martell needing to clean his behind, and that it has a lot of number 2 and all this other stuff, and that not to take it. Well, first she said not to take it into 2005, and then she said not to take it into 2025. And now all of a sudden, Martell hates women so bad, but he didn't hate women when he was saying all those things about Mel. All y'all said that everything he said about Mel was nothing but 150% facts. I just keep the same energy. We're going to continue to call it out. Keep the same energy. Martell didn't hate women when all of this bashing went to Mel. You guys were eating it up because you guys didn't like Mel, and you said it was nothing but facts, and it validated your thoughts about her. And all it's giving is you really don't have genuine reasons to hate Mel. You just don't like her just to not like her. So nonetheless, you're trying to say as well that, Tisha's unbothered and all of this. And now she's trying to twist what Tisha actually said on Mr. Monday's, people. She is trying to flip around, smack it, flip it, and reverse it on what Tisha said. She is now trying to play semantics and trying to say that Tisha, quote unquote, heard that Martell liked boys and that she didn't flat out say the word G-A-Y. But here's what she did say, Peanut Gallery. She said that this is not alleged. And Carlos King even tried to throw her a bone and was like, listen, I understand what you're trying to imply here. I understand what you're trying to say here. And she said, your daughter said, this is not alleged. So that right there is all the smoking gun somebody needs. Make it make sense. As to now how we're trying to rewrite history, she flat out said this is not alleged. Nothing is alleged about what I'm saying, whether I was there or not, whether I heard this from someone else or not. It is not alleged. That is the whole point. So she, like I said, then she wants to talk about another portion of the Mr. Mondays where she's talking about how Marceau said that he was, or that she said Marceau said that he was showing pics and all of that stuff. Again, trying to clean up the mess that your daughter, started. You are too little too late. The damage is done. The damage is done. If you wanted to regurgitate all of this, if you had an actual PR person, that is when you clean this stuff up within 24 to 72 hours, not weeks later. Weeks later, we've moved on to other topics. We've moved on to the other story. The hot topic now is the latest post that Martell did in his stories, and your daughter and son-in-law pretending as if Martell has not set the world on fire. Please, let's not play in people's faces, you guys. So, nonetheless, one thing she did reveal is that, she claims that Martell doesn't want the real truth to come out, but she did make a comment that Martell has caused a big fight. Who was the big fight caused against? Any takers, you guys? I have a guess of who's in a big fight right now. Because here's the thing. You just told on yourself, right? You just said that if you're unbothered, you're not going to say anything, but clearly you're bothered because you keep saying things. And then you also said that Martell doesn't want the truth to come out, but what truth did come out that it's causing a fight? That it's causing people to argue, that it's causing discord? What argument, Peanut Gallery? What happened? So then she said if this keeps going, if Martell keeps going at this, this is not going to end nice. And there were a lot of threats, you guys. Like a lot of pow-pow threats. And it's like, oh, okay. Why can't we be mature adults here? I thought we were going to take the positivity into 2025, but it seems that it's going to be on site as long as your daughter's involved. So really, we're not taking positivity into 2025. The positivity is contingent upon people doing what you want them to do, which is crazy. Because people are their own sound and of their own mind, unless they're being controlled or manipulated. So nonetheless, you said essentially it's not going to end nice if Martell keeps going. So it already sounds like there might be trouble in paradise. Called Martell the P word that rhymes with hussy. Said that Martell needs to find somebody else to play with, something else to SUCK on. Then wants to throw Mel in it again, saying wife and girlfriend blasting you, calling you a queen, and all these things. And and she's holding on to this happened 20 years ago. This happened 20 years ago, and is trying to call out the bloggers and trying to call out anybody who is asking, why Martell is doing this and all this and that Martell doesn't really have proof. And said that whoever the friend is that is co-signing all this stuff, that's not a real man either, that men don't act like that. And then said that she has a cousin who is GAY that wants to meet Martell, and then said that if Martell is not GAY, why does he have GAY people at his house? And she said, you know what I'm talking about, and then named a guy named Theo, and wanted to say that she knew for a fact that Theo was at the house doing you know what, and she said that she has more names that she can call. And so, nonetheless, she's saying she'll say more names, if she needs to. Then also said that Martell needs to save his money and all the things. He needs to save his money and take care of home or whatever. Then also said, like I said, they're not taking legal action, which I found interesting. They're not going to take legal action unless Martell takes legal action. But my thing is, if it's all a lie and it's defamatory and slanderous, wouldn't you immediately take Martell to court like yesterday? That's why I'm like, you guys are too quiet. And trying to have the peanut gallery be the mouthpiece of it all is just making matters worse. I would have kept it cute and kept it mute and let all this die out and let something else, like So Gucci quitting Bell Collective, remain the dominant story. But you guys are so fame hungry. You have to keep yourself in the news. Even your son-in-law went live last night. And he wanted to talk about Martell. Nobody cares about, that team that won the game yesterday that he was talking about. Nobody cares about that team. Stop the madness. Anyways, feels that, basically they have a better case if they countersue Martell. and then went in on the alleged side chick of Marceau, called her basically a crackhead, for lack of a better term, called her a 304, and said that, and made the allegation that she looks like she, quote, smokes crack off the D, you guys. That is what came out of the peanut gallery's mouth. I'm not kidding you. And that she has done the cocoa and everything else, you guys. Then imitates a woman sound when rehashing Martell calling Tasha K, and that he acts like a woman, and that Martell needs some ice cream and needs to watch his nose and needs some paper towels, needs his nose washed and all these things, and said that the only people that need to be concerned about Martell's sexuality is his ex-wife and his current women. Well, why would Mel need to be concerned about his sexuality if she's not romantically involved with him anymore? Make it make sense. It doesn't matter. So nonetheless, essentially he is saying that as well that Martell is got to the 304s that he's messing with, but not got to other people. And essentially, is imitating, oh, Tasha K gone, and Tisha called me G-A-Y, and I just don't know what to do, and da-da-da-da-da. It is like what she was going on and on and on about, right? And so then the other piece, she wanted to talk about how women need to shut up sometimes around men, and that people have it wrong about how Marceau is talking to Tisha on the show, that he's commanding and demanding respect. And I was like, wow, okay. And said that it's not about women being smart, women just need to be powerful. And I was like, wow. And just need to know when to hold them and know when to fold them. This coming from somebody, by the way, who has a boyfriend and a husband. But nonetheless, then wanted to make a jab at the concubine, saying she didn't know what a two-parent household was. Then wanted to, again, give another stray to Mel. Again, these people cannot keep Mel's name out their mouth. And said that a bodyguard should be trying to protect and not try to hit on you and get hit on. And my thing is this. Have you been in proximity with Mel and this bodyguard? Do you have actual factual receipts that this bodyguard and Mel are in a romantic relationship? Because y'all swore that Mel was in a relationship and was into the lipstick females on the girls trip, and you swore that Mel was hooking up with all these women on the girls trip and no receipts were ever produced. Now you guys are spreading as fact that Mel and this bodyguard are together with no facts and no receipts of any sort. And y'all also had spread all of the other lies that Martell had said in the past about Mel and the attorney, about Mel and the guy that Martell filmed the date on, about Mel and the councilman. Y'all took all of that stuff and ran with it. But now y'all are demanding receipts. Make it make sense. But anything about Mel that is negative, y'all run with it. And my thing is this, a real one would check the facts of everything, whether you like a person or not, so that you're not just out here spewing nonsense, which is what got you kicked off the show in the first place, was spewing nonsense and allegations about the paternity of the youngest child. Knowing daggone well that was ridiculous. And trying to pull up that ridiculous photo. Make it make sense. But it's the audacity for me. It truly is the audacity. Then she goes into a tangent about bald-headed men and how, they can either be completely empty-headed or handsome or whatever, or just be complete idiots, and all the things. Said that if a wife knows more than a man, there's something wrong. It's a whole nother misogynistic rant as far as I'm concerned. Very red pill type of nonsense. Then said that Tisha's grandfather taught her to think with her head and not her hands. And that you don't have to respond to everything, and that you don't respond to lies, you only respond to the truth. But then said you don't respond to the truth. Said that Mel did not have a man, she had a what rhymes with hussy. And said that essentially, Mel needs a strong man to handle her and can't be weak like what Martell is. And so, and then went into a whole nother thing about putting hands on people that they're going to DIE. And it's like, here we go again. And then there was some vulgar sexual relation stuff about shooting and pumping up the volume and a lot of GAY references as it pertained to Martell that I just felt was inappropriate. It wasn't necessary. Said again, leave her daughter the F alone, or that she's coming for that bleep. She's unbothered and don't give a bleep. And then the hypocrisy of it all, right? Because you know how she always likes to shout out how the bloggers that she has close relationships with, she has phone conversations with, she goes to their houses, all these things, but you guys accuse Mel of doing all these things, and I have yet to see any receipts of any bloggers at Mel's house or Mel having one-on-one conversations with these bloggers or anything. I never see it the other way around, but it's okay for you guys to openly let the people know that you have these personal phone calls and personal trips planned together with certain bloggers. Make it make sense. But I say all that to say, you keep reiterating how you only mess with bloggers that you specifically call out and that you ride for, right? But then you call out a blogger who you always had rode for. And you're mad at her because I think she's been defending Martell, apparently. Or allegedly. That's what I'm assuming, right? I don't know. Because that would be the only thing that makes sense if she's going up for Martell. And now you're mad at her. And now I have an issue as well. Because, you're saying that she's, quote, on the other side and that they deserve each other, which I presume you assume now she's a millimeter and saying that the millimeters in her deserve each other. Like, you're just not making any sense. And the thing of it is that it's not even Mel supporters or Mel defenders or even people with a lick of intelligence are Team Martell or a fan of Martell. A lot of people are saying, listen, we're sitting this one out, but we're saying at the same token that this is who Martell's been from the start. So why are you shocked? And why did y'all sit there and do nothing? We're going to continue to call it out. You sat there and did nothing when Martell was doing this to Mel. That showed who he was. That showed his character then. That showed that he was acting immature, acting childish. But the cast, everybody, past and present, sat there and did nothing. And when Mel tried to look for comfort from these so-called friends, they threatened to expose the mistress, like your own daughter did, Peanut Gallery. She said that she had the pictures right on her phone saved in her favorites. This was in the earlier season. She was daring Mel to do something so that she could put the girl's information out there. And wanted to brag about the matching BMWs that's completely irrelevant now. So please miss me with this no. Then wanted to talk about Black Eyed Peas and, how life-changing they are and all of this other stuff. Listen, I know about Black Eyed Peas. Nobody needs to tell me anything about Black Eyed Peas. Okay. Then also said that Martell needed to come out of the closet. See, this is what I mean. It's just like, how do you know this stuff for fact? Is what I want to know. Then, once again, wants to blame Kiki's death on Mel, you guys. And said that Mel essentially made that allegation at this point that she still believes that Mel and Tell are in cahoots together. Don't know where she's getting that from. Said that accused Mel of telling her niece that her services are no longer needed, and now wants to go into a whole thing about how much Tisha loved her cousin and all the things, and how Kiki was loved like a daughter. And I just don't understand. If you felt this way, why were there allegations being made about the paternity of the kids, about how the parents didn't want your niece, and how Tisha said in an interview that her cousin was DEAD to her, and you guys made some very disgusting allegations. So it is the audacity now to blame all of this on Mel, and all of this. And are you making unalive claims about Kiki now? Are you confirming that Kiki unalived herself? This is what I'm saying. Maybe the liquor was a little bit too loose tonight. I don't know. But basically said that her and Tisha were thick as thieves since the age of 13, and that it was a shame that over the age of 40 that they allowed the show to pull them apart. Well, I thought y'all said that this was Carlos King's show, and that Mel had no power. So how did it turn into, now all of a sudden, if something doesn't go your way, it's now Mel's fault? But y'all said this wasn't Mel's show. The show that is airing now on OWN is not Mel's original idea, that this is all Carlos King. And that Carlos King has all the receipts, that he is the owner and the proprietor of everything, and that he is in charge of everything, and that everything he says goes. And that he's the one that controls everything. Martell even said as well that production tells them what to do in the scenes, and what they should be talking about in the scenes, what they should be bringing to the scenes. So how do we go from all of that to now all of a sudden Mel's the responsible person to hire and fire people from the show and has all this power, you guys? See how the goalpost keeps changing? The goalpost keeps changing, and I'm going to continue to call it out. So nonetheless, what else was there? Other references about the hook and the curve, and more GAY references. Again, it's just like, again, also said maybe Martell acts the way he does because he doesn't have a dad in his life, since his dad's been in jail most of his life and all the things. Should love women more, especially since his mom raised him. Basically said if you continue to F with Tisha, she's going to continue to dog you out, and that Martell needs to stay over there. Also had a message for the concubine that about her talking too much and all this other stuff, that if you got something to say, or that if you're scared, like, she can come knock on your door. And she said that her theme is Stay Alive for 2025. It's just crazy. Then called basically the concubine a cum rag, you guys, and said she needed her face clean with the cum rag. OMG, you guys. OMG. And said that her lips were too plumped, her face was too, digitally altered or surgically altered or whatever else, and that she needs the cum rag to smooth her out, you guys. Then, let's see what else. I think I'd mentioned that she wants her on the show to embarrass Martell, embarrass his ex, and all the things. But like I said, it doesn't make any sense. Then she wanted to give this example. So she didn't address the revenge P, but I think she thinks she's addressing the revenge P, but it doesn't make sense. Because the example that she gave was about knowing about somebody cheating and whether or not she said anything. So she wants to talk about how she lost this friend of hers, that this was like 15 years ago, where it was like 3 years in or so into Peanut Gallery's marriage. And they were all at the Golden Corral. She saw her friend's husband there pull up with another woman. And she said back then she was ghetto. She had pieces on her and all this other stuff. If people wanted to go, they could go. And she was always risking going to jail. I don't think that's a flex, Peanut Gallery, but nonetheless, we'll continue. Basically, when her friend's husband went up to get his plate at Golden Corral, because she was trying to explain the Golden Corral process, and I'm like, it's a buffet. That's all you had to say. It is a buffet. So then she says that she met and went and talked to the girl that the husband brought, and the girl said that they'd been together for about a year. And she said, did you know that he's married? And she was like, oh, no, he's not married. She said he told her that he's getting a divorce or whatever. And so then basically she waited for him to come back to where he was sitting with the girl. And then all HELL broke loose to the point that, it was going to get escalated to, some other stuff popping off. But she said at that point she didn't need to call her friend because word would have gotten back essentially about a scene being had with this husband. And she said essentially because of all of this, she hasn't talked to her friend anymore. And so she said all that to say that it's not people's place to tell their friends if their man is cheating. But my thing is this. If you are going out on dates with Martell and his concubine and you know that he is married to Mel, what does that say about you as a person? Or Marceau is coming and telling you that you guys are going out on double dates and everything else. And she is out here on trips that are supposed to be a guy's trip. And you're not suspicious as to why that's taking place, why she is so integrated with the Scott brothers like that and knows allegedly all this tea. No. That's not normal in any capacity. So then claims that Martell wants Tisha and that he stares at her butt now. Says that, anybody who wants to mess with Peanut Gallery, they're messing with the wrong MFer. Said that if, Martell's concubine wants to fight, she's ready to go. She said we can even put money on it. She's got 5,000, and, anybody else, they can bring up the 5,000 too and put it together and let's go. Says that people are obsessed with her daughter and that when they talk about Tisha, they get turned on and all this other foolishness. And it's weird. It is so weird. Was upset about people talking about how Tisha was at the grocery store claiming to be unbothered. Alleges that the girl that they did an interview with was in a threesome with Martell and his concubine. Then couldn't say Buick, called it a brewer. And said that she drives a brewer. Oh my gosh. Well, to be fair, we don't know what year the brewery was, though. Is it an enclave? Is it, what is it? Is it a lacrosse? Like, what are we talking about here? So nonetheless, said that they need to be in therapy, that they're all 304s, and all of this and that, and that they need to see a psychiatrist, and all this and that. Is there anything else? I think that was mainly it. So here's my things. A couple things I just wanted to quickly say because I know this is a long video. But the allegation now that your niece unalived herself isn't cool. So now all of a sudden you're confirming this after previously saying that that wasn't true. But you're basically trying to say that Martell is trying to continue to go at Tisha to have the same result as Kiki. Which I'm not seeing the correlation, by the way. I don't think that's the case. I think Martell is honestly just sick of keeping everyone's secrets and he's gone scorched earth, which I've said plenty of times. Also, if you watch my videos, just say that about get the lie straight. Like, if you watch my videos, just say that. Then let's see what else. Not suing. Only going to sue if Martell does. So that tells me this isn't important to you. That what Martell is saying isn't, you're not really that upset as you claim. Because you notice you really just kept making the GAY jokes and just dropping a man's name. But you're not really that upset. Then the thing, like I said, with the bloggers, it's such a hypocritical thing because ultimately, to be honest with you, you should be cool with all the bloggers then. Because by your definition, a lot of the people that you're actually cool with probably said the worst stuff about your late niece. But you have no problems with them. So, for me, that tells me everything I need to know, that this is just a flat out bias situation. And it's not a genuine situation because we're all grown. We can all have a real conversation about if you need clarification about something, but just not liking somebody, just not to like them, or you don't like if they defend somebody, like that's lame. Like, so we're all supposed to all like the same people and have the exact same opinion on everything and all be monolithic and not have any type of diversity of any sort. Make it make sense. So then also, I clarified that, you're trying to clean up what Tisha said on Mr. Mondays. It's not going to work because she specifically said that nothing she said was alleged as it pertained to those things she was saying about Martell's sexuality. Keep saying you were unbothered and that Tisha's unbothered, but a true Leo would not be doing videos anytime something drops from Martell as it pertains to your daughter. You would let the story die. Because here's the thing. Like I said, if you ignored this, everybody would still be talking about So Gucci. But you want to be in the news. You want to still be associated with the show. And you're using your daughter in this drama with Martell to do it. I see through it, though. Threatening people on the internet is crazy work. I mean, it just is. It's like, what are we accomplishing? What are we achieving? Why can't you have a grown conversation with these people, or have these people come up on your panel, or have a DM, a phone conversation, a Zoom, something, so you can say what you need to say instead of throwing all these shots at these people? This is what I can't get behind. We're not going to do a back and forth. Say what you have to say and step to these people like a grown woman. Threatening to unalive people isn't the answer. And doing all this big talk on your platform, but no action isn't going to cut it. Make it make sense. And then you are saying Martell doesn't have anything, but you just spent an hour and 15 minutes making all these GAY references to Martell, basically validating what Tisha said on Mr. Mondays, but saying that there's no reason for Martell to be upset and to respond. And this is coming for somebody that y'all know I can't even stand Martell, but it doesn't even make any sense what you're saying. If the GAY allegations aren't true, why are you getting on your platform adding more fuel to the fire that the GAY allegations are true? And now you're alleging that this Theo guy is a relative of the concubine? Oh, no. Like I said, fine. It sounds like there might be some remorse and some regret with the loss of the late Kiki. However, I just don't understand being cool with her biggest ops. That is a disconnect for me, because for me, if you have talked reckless about my family, I don't care who you are. If you talk reckless about my family, it's on site. And you talk reckless about my family, we're not having a close relationship anymore. We're not going to be on the phone hours on end about gossiping about other people and all this other nonsense. We're not going to be shouting people out that have said disparaging things about my relatives. I don't work that way. That's not how Leos move. Leos move, you cross me, I'm done with you. Friend, foe, family, whomever. You showed your behind once, I'm done. But you're a different type of Leo. You're a Leo I've never encountered, Peanut Gallery, because I've never heard of being friends with the ops. Leos, once they realize you're an op, they don't exist to you anymore. You don't fool with them, because what they're doing to other people, they're going to eventually do to you. Make it make sense. Then also, like I said, now saying Mel fired Kiki, I thought she had no power on the show. I thought nobody liked her on the show. I thought she couldn't do anything on the show. I thought this was all Carlos King's, inception. Now you're back to downgrading Martell's concubine to some woman that he lays with. I thought she was his wife previously. I thought that they got married. I thought there was a big announcement coming. Now she's just a 304, like you're calling the girl they interviewed a 304 too, and that they needed the 304 to interview the other 304 because they know how to keep the lies going, and that they couldn't go to Tasha K because Tasha K would get the truth out of them, which is ironic in itself because Tasha K has admitted that she's a liar too under oath. But anyways, then, like I said, the timeline now trying to put a year range of 2004 to 2006, but previously you said this was a one-time hookup in the backseat of the Buick, so I'm just confused. Like, again, there's way too much trying to cover up and backtrack and add more sauce on these stories to make them believable. And I found it funny, you guys kept talking about how the girl couldn't say Marceau's name and kept saying Martell's name, but you couldn't say Martell's name tonight. You kept saying Marcel. Like you wanted to say Marceau. So I found that interesting because Martell and Marceau were thick as thieves. And we're always traveling together and on these expeditions together. So that's interesting as well. Then, like I said, finally, what is there to expose at this point if it's, as it pertains to Mel, when it's going on 5 years that her and Martell have been divorced? Make it make sense. There's nothing further to expose. It's not the gotcha, just like the Trisha thing. The Trisha thing is your example as to why any other 304s Martell may have dealt with while he was married to Mel is not going to land with Mel. Mel is not going to give the reaction you're looking for because Mel doesn't care. Mel is aware that there have been more than just the concubine that has tried to interfere and hook up with Martell and tries to cause chaos in the marriage. She doesn't care because she decided to leave him for good. So what is bringing all these women on the show trying to get a reaction out of Mel going to do at this point if she's divorced Martell? It's not going to get the reaction that you think that is going to happen. Martell's concubine would be on the show solely to expose your daughter and son-in-law and also his brother and his wife. Because Martell legally can't go after Mel like that anymore because he's tied up in the court system with the custody case and the criminal case. So he can't go after Mel because all that can be used against him in court. So he is going to go after your daughter and son-in-law and his brother and his wife. So your rationale for wanting his concubine on the show is just going to further destroy your daughter and your son-in-law. Unless that's what you want to happen. Because there's no other reason for you to be hyping this up and cheerleading for this. So there's that. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Happy New Year again. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you're notified the moment I post new content on my channel. And with that being said, I'll talk to you guys again very soon.